Hi, this is Jason Berg again. Here we are, um, working on the last wheel brake system. So we're going to be replacing the rotor and caliper and pads on the front passenger side. So yesterday, when I worked on the driver's side, I noticed that the CV boot was torn, the outside one, and there was grease all over the place. Yesterday when I finished with the brake system and I took it out for a drive, I noticed that that when I turned left, there was kind of a grinding sound. And I'm thinking perhaps it was due to the CV joint itself. Kind of a clicking, grinding sound. I've heard something like that before on vehicles that I've driven that had the same problem, so I'm guessing that's what it is. I'm also guessing that that tear happened when I did the bedding procedure for the brake pads. Aggressive, which is aggressive 40 mile per hour to 10 mile per hour stops, or aggressive braking. So like you're almost stopping the car from 45 miles per hour, but you don't want to have the brakes lock up. So, and you do that 5 times in a row to get them hot, really hot. So it could be that all that torque on the drive shaft could have caused that boot to tear right at the band clamp. So anyway, that drive shaft needs to be replaced, and I'm thinking of doing it myself now. I got quotes from Walzer, the dealership. It'll cost like $675, and Baker Automotive would be $600. Baker also quoted me $400 to do the hub, the wheel hub with bearing. So that's almost $1,000, or that's $1,000. I can get the wheel bearing and hub, the hub and wheel bearing for $55, and the drive shaft for $65. So I'm going to do it myself. Looking at what needs to be done for the drive shaft, though, this needs to be loosened so it can drop down. This needs to be removed so that it can swing. This is for the steering. And then also to get the shaft out of this opening here, you have to take off, I don't know, you can't, maybe on this side it's easier to see. You have to take off this nut so this lower control arm can drop, and then you can slip the shaft out between the lower control arm and that shock, or strut, I guess it is. Okay, so right now I'm gonna start taking, yeah, so that's the procedure for replacing the drive shaft. And the video I saw, he didn't even take off the rotor. He just took off the caliper so he could swing it without the caliper weight being on there. Okay, so I'm gonna get started, and I'm gonna get started now. And yesterday it took me about 2 hours to do the driver's side, so we're gonna do that. I assume it'll take about the same amount of time today. Okay, that's it. Hello, I'm back. So this is where we're at with the passenger side front brakes. The rotor, caliper, and pads. So as you can see, we've got the old rotor off. I've cleaned up the shield, the dust protector, the rotor shield, basically. I actually loosened up all of these nuts and put them back on tight. This one for the upper control arm, this one for the wheel hub. All of these things I took off. This one for the steering tie rod. This one for the anti-sway bar linkage. This is the other side of the anti-sway bar linkage here. And then this one, actually the other side is where the nut is, for the shock, so that I can lower the entire lower control arm away from this shock mount, so that we can slip this shaft between the lower control arm and the shock mount, because there's no way you're going to pull this shaft through this hole here. It just won't fit. Okay, so all of that was done in preparation for the next job, which is to replace the CV axle. Now this side really doesn't need it, but they're only 50 bucks, 55 bucks or so. So I'm gonna get one for each side. But I'm also gonna get a couple other parts that will be needed. So I'm also gonna get the wheel hub, a new wheel hub, that's 50 bucks. So those are the two most expensive parts. Then the shield, that's only 7 bucks, so it's worth it to get a new one. This is all rusted out. And then I don't know what the sway bar linkage is. It's one piece with 2 ball joints on each end. So I'll look that up. But for just the drive shaft and wheel hub with bearing, that's about roughly 100 bucks, 110, 120 per side. So we're talking 240, and then the shield, which is like, let's say 20 bucks, 10 each, and then whatever that is. So the cost of that, maybe it'll be close to 300, but the quote I got from Walzer, to just do the drive shaft on the driver's side is 675 bucks. I got a similar quote from Baker Automotive, 610, and then to do that wheel hub, it's another 400. Of course, that includes, both of those estimates include the parts. But I know I can get the parts for a fraction of that. And I can do the job. I've also loosened those things in preparation, so I should be able to do this myself. Okay, so now now those parts won't come in for a week, so I'm gonna put the wheel back on, the new rotor, then the new caliper, and pads, and we'll be done. We'll see in a few minutes showing the finished job. Signing off. Hello again, it's Jason. Just here to kind of show you the final result here. So all the brakes have been done, and this is what we ended up with in the front here. So that's how it looks there. And we have our rear passenger side, or right rear. Going around to the other side, we have our left rear, driver's side rear, driver's side front. This is the one we're gonna have to work on again. We're gonna have to pull this stuff off to replace the drive shaft, but that won't happen until next week. Okay, signing off. So long.